It's interesting, I once went to Malaysia. And this teaching of this chapter is very interesting because it says that there's no one dharma for getting enlightenment. There's no one dharma, one tradition, one teaching for enlightenment. There's many, 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 many in this world. Kwanseum Bosal attained enlightenment just by hearing. Just by hearing. Got enlightenment. So I once had to go and teach in Malaysia. I think I told this story once before in one of our Dharma talks. And when I was teaching in Malaysia, I was staying in a Chinese temple. Chinese temple invited me to go. And the Chinese temple was located in the middle of this huge Muslim market. Big market. Very loud. And it's very interesting because the whole temple completely smelled like fried chicken. Because they're in the market, selling they're heating this hot oil and making maybe falafel and fried chicken, and I guess can't eat pork or whatever. So there's this very intense smell all the time. Very interesting. In the temple, you didn't smell incense. It's very strong. I couldn't smell fried oil for like 2 weeks after that. Very strong. Sleeping, all you can smell in your sleep is this fried oil. But it's very, very wonderful atmosphere, very beautiful. And of course, 5 times a day, this call to prayer is amazing, amazing. So this Chinese woman came to me one day and said, "Oh, Sanim, I have a friend. He's a Muslim friend. He wants to talk with a Buddhist monk. Can he meet you?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. Do you have some beads, 108 beads? Do you have some 108 beads? Can I borrow them?" And he said to this Chinese Bosanim said to me, "Oh, Sanim, my friend, this Malaysian Muslim, he wants to talk to a Buddhist monk. He has some questions. This man is a very educated lawyer, and he's traveled all over the world doing legal stuff, and he has read books about Buddhism. And he's read in these books certain teachings of Buddhism, but he feels that these teachings of Zen Buddhism especially are very close to his experience. But he can't talk. All of his friends are Malaysian, Muslim, and he can't talk with them about other religions. It's not permitted. It's maybe permitted to talk about other religions, but not maybe in an approving way. How much it helped him. So he said, he wants to talk to a monk, but he can't come to the public talk. Because if people see him going to this public talk, he has a problem with his friends. They will think there's some rule. He'll be betraying Islam or something like that. So I said, yeah, no problem. He can come. So we set aside a certain time, and I was sitting in the temple, and he came, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. So he came, very interesting man, very well-dressed, and he's very intelligent, very interesting person. And we talked. And I noticed while we were talking, he had these sorts of beads. He had these beads. And I had a set of beads too. And while we were talking, he was, holding his beads like this. He was kind of doing this. And you see sometimes when you see maybe some of the pictures from Iraq or the Middle East, you see men in coffee shops, especially older men, are sitting there with the pipe. And they're talking together or playing some game or something like that. And I'm not too familiar with the culture. I should be, but just doing the beads like this. Same beads. Looks like it's pretty much the same. Or in cars, too. And I remember some of our Israeli, some people came from Israel to the Zen Center here. And we were doing bowing. And they, you use these 108 beads for bowing. This is to count your bows. But they said when they went back to Israel, some of them, they had a problem. Because Muslim people use these. So other Israeli friends said, hey. They didn't know this was a Buddhist use. Says, hey. Who? What are you doing with those beads? It was a little strange. So anyway, this man came in. While he's talking to me, I noticed that we had the beads. Then we were talking about this and talking about that. And then he said, oh, yes, Sanim. He said, oh, you have these beads. What do you use them for? And I said, oh yeah, we do this chanting. We Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 or Kwanzaa Bozo, Kwanzaa Bozo, Kwanzaa Bozo, Kwanzaa Bozo, Kwanzaa Bozo, Kwanzaa Bozo, or Shimyo Jingo De Dada Ni Namara Nana Gabara Gizabara Mujizagadan Baza Taki Vidaba Gizabara Shimyo Jingo De Dada Ni. He said, oh yeah, we do that too. I said, oh yeah? How do you use your beads? And he said, oh yeah, in Islam, we have, I don't remember correctly, but we have maybe like the 100 names of Allah. 100 different names of Allah. So he said, maybe it's 104 or 100 something. And he said, so many people, we repeat this name over and over and over again. I don't know. I'm not making fun of it. I'm not making a joke about it. It was something like that. But Allah something, over and over, and the same. Like we did. In fact, he said some of his friends do 2 sets of beads at the same time. They're doing one so much that they can also do another one at the same time. At the same time. So I said, wow, that's amazing. He said, yeah, we sometimes, and this man also, this lawyer, he said, sometimes you completely experience. There's absolutely, completely becoming one with Allah. Completely meeting Allah. Completely experiencing this universe as one, nothing. So, wow, I was very grateful. Wow, that's very wonderful. We do the same thing. And then he said, so, Sanim, I have a question for you. It wasn't a challenge. It was really curious. He said, you know, sometimes you in Buddhism, how do you express this Buddha if it has no name, it has no form? That experience of completely becoming one with Buddha, you know, if you say Buddha, it's already a mistake. So how do you express it when you sometimes have to give expression to it? And I went, and he went, and I thought, oh my God, I made a mistake. Maybe I did something wrong. But he was happy. He was crying, but completely, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, I was waiting for that. He said, that's my same experience. That's my same experience. So he saw his practice and my practice, our practice, boom, arrive at the same point. So there's no one Dharma to get to this point. Actually, all of you already arrived. All of you already experienced. Everyone, man, woman, Korean, American, Canadian, French, Christian, Buddhist, Catholic. In this moment, everyone's mind is the same mind. Or sound of the mei-mei, sound of the cicada, sound of the birds, the sound of the fan. In that moment, everyone's mind has the same substance. It's the same experience. So, that's a very amazing point. You don't need a certain dharma to get there. Meaning, other dharmas don't get you there. That's a very important point. So that's the teaching of this chapter. If you want to know what the meaning of this chapter is, attachment to rewards of merit.